I don't know. Noteflight is available in a free version, and anyone can sign up for it for free and use the notation editor to create a limited number of scores. And Noteflight Crescendo is a paid subscription version for individuals primarily that relaxes some of those restrictions and also adds a number of additional features. For instance, it has a much larger instrument library, it has guitar tablature, it has colors for different notes, it has different ways of sharing. You can go to our website and see a complete description of the differences, but let's just say Noteflight Crescendo is the full product, whereas Noteflight is a limited free version. Noteflight Learning Edition goes one step beyond Crescendo. It offers all the features that Crescendo has, but it packages them in a way that allows a learning community, such as a classroom or a school music department, to work together and to have a private space in the Noteflight system for their scores and their users. And Learning Edition is available in partnership with another company's product called Haiku that Sandi will be showing, which provides a very powerful system that works in concert with Noteflight to build both text and music together into a seamless whole. And I think the best way to appreciate that is for Sandi to show it. We will also shortly be offering a version of Learning Edition that is available without Haiku, which is perhaps a little bit simpler to make use of and set up in some situations. Sandi, does that provide some useful background?
That is great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And, all right, is my slide showing with Noteflight Crescendo and Noteflight?
It is showing, and you have presentation controls back.
Thank you, Bit. Okay, so let me go back one here. To follow up with what Joe said, we created a Noteflight Learning Edition community last year through the Vermont MIDI project. And we had what I'd consider a pilot year in the school year 2009 to 10. I administered this community that we had that included about 15 teachers, 700 students, and some music majors from, I'm getting a lot of static. There we go. Is that better, Brad?
It sounds fine.
Okay, there was a huge amount of static all of a sudden. But, and we worked with music education majors at the University of Vermont as we began our pilot year with the Noteflight Learning Edition. It's a learning management system, as Joe mentioned, and it does have the premium content, the Noteflight Crescendo, embedded into the learning management system, the LMS. We used it for sequentially based lessons that included various assignments. Teachers attached their assessments. They created assessments. There's an area for discussion. You could use a grade book if you chose, although a number of our teachers didn't select that feature, but it is there. And a number of our folks used the resource, the ability to embed resources like video, audio, image files, hyperlinks to other resources such as musictheory.net, dictionaries, and a variety of tools. Let me move ahead here. And I'm going to test out for a second the raise hand feature here, so that I can get some feedback from you, and then that will be how you'll ask questions later on. First of all, would you raise your hand if you know something about the Vermont MIDI project? I love the little sound. Right, so I want to know whether I'm talking to people. Hopefully everybody found the raise hand. So it seems that not a lot of you have heard about the project. So let me tell you that we have been working for 15 years, since 1995. The group of teachers and a couple of professional composer mentors got together to discuss how we might implement music composition in the schools. At that time, 1995, very few of us were doing anything, myself included, for composition in the school. And since it was a new national standard, we wanted to consider how we might address this within our classes. We've developed over the past 15 years, and there are now 4 primary activities that we're involved in. And on the slide, you can see our overall goal is to encourage and support students in composing and arranging music. Our perhaps most well-known activity is that we connect our students with professional composer mentors in a web discussion-type, threaded discussion format. They post their music files, students post their music files in process, not finished products generally, but in process, and the composer mentors work with them throughout the process of developing their compositions. The second area that we moved into in the year 2000 was for performance of student compositions. We now have twice a year we have opus concerts where we select the instrumentation and tell students what that is. They can select from any of the available instruments, mixing and matching, solos, duets, trios, or the entire ensemble that's available. You can see this information if you're interested at our website, which is listed on the screen, and if you go to the Opus tab, that highlights those performances sponsored by the project. We also encourage a number of performances within the school and in the community with community orchestras. And the third area of that is our collaboration with the Vermont Symphony Orchestra, the Vermont Philharmonic Orchestra, the Vermont Youth Orchestra, the Vermont Contemporary Music Ensemble, and various other groups that regularly schedule student performances within their year's offering. It's become a very important event for our students to be able to write and have their music performed. And I'd be glad to tell you more about that at another time. I think you can find a great deal on our website, and there are audio files of the student work. There are some short videos. We also do professional development for teachers. I mentioned that a little bit at the beginning. And then we develop resources that we share with others. You can find all of these referenced on our website. So now let's specifically talk about Noteflight and Noteflight Learning Edition and what our teachers are doing with that. Let me take you into my application here and show you one of the lessons that we've been working on. And I think I've got something ready to go here. Let's do this one first. This is a lesson that I developed, and we are in the Haiku Learning Management System. This is an elementary lesson designed for grades 3 maybe to 6, or 4 to grade 6. You'll see that there's teacher information at the top. This is the version for sharing. There's a mystery tune. You notice how easily Noteflight embeds into this. I can play the score here. The purpose of this lesson is for students to create their own theme and variations based on Brother John or Frere Jacques. First, they're expected to listen or look. Actually, we've asked them to look at the score and see if they know what this tune is, and to observe the repeated pattern. So I'll play it just a little bit. hopefully that worked. Mainly to show you that it does work within this very easily. When students click on the Noteflight icon within this embedded area, they then go to their own Noteflight account and they can see the Noteflight tune. They could manipulate it here if they wanted. They could play it here. And they have the option to go into Noteflight, creating a new score. They can view all the things that they've created in the past. This is just like Noteflight Crescendo. In fact, it is Noteflight Crescendo, so you're within the regular program here. Joe showed you creating a new score, and I'm going to move back to the lesson. The second thing students are asked to do in this lesson is to create their own variations, and measure 4 has been left blank, as has 6 and 8. And the directions are on the score here for students to see. They might discuss with their teacher how they would create that first variation in measure 2, what was created, describe what's happening in this, and then go on and work on measures 4, 6, and 8 to complete their own version of this piece. Back at the lesson, students are asked to hand in their lesson for their teacher, and directions follow in here. They're asked then to describe what they've done, the changes, using music vocabulary. Students could print out their score if the teacher wanted them to. They could, as Joe suggested, they could copy the link and put it into another web page, on the school web page, for example, and a variety of things that every teacher's doing things differently. So whatever teachers would like to do with that, but right here it's contained within the class, which makes it highly useful for all of those teachers who are trying to develop a sequentially based lesson. Notice at the bottom here there are some resources, a YouTube link to Sakura, the variations done on the guitar, and then a rather hysterical one with a piano student at a university in a practice room who probably didn't have anything better to do that day. He created these variations. I won't spoil the surprise, so see it for yourself if you'd like. There's a checklist, so the assessment is included. I'm scrolling back up. You're probably getting a little seasick watching me go rather quickly, but there is a second lesson. If you noticed over on the left-hand side, I could create additional lessons related to this variation on a familiar tune. I think I'm going to stop for a second and ask if there are any questions at this point before I go into the next section on the activity templates that we've just created and made available for anyone to view. And if they have Noteflight Learning Edition accounts, they can copy and use things immediately. But let me stop for a